Welcome to the Linguistics Show, where we talk about life, love, and everything else. There's always something to talk about with this couple, so you never know what may come out of their mouth.
Welcome back to the Linguistics Show.
Ooh, welcome back. Very smooth opening.
Oh, thank you. To my left is Jason.
To my left, since we're facing each
To
other.
your right.
To my right is the television, Slim.
Okay.
To my left would be Little Miss Carol.
Okay, yeah. So, hey, everybody. It's Carol.
What's up, y'all? This is Jason.
And so today we're talking about colorism.
I thought that was what we were talking about today.
And so when we had talked about our new season and our relaunch a few months ago, well, actually before that, you wanted to touch on subjects that were at times a bit more maybe controversial or serious, and like one of them was race, and the colorism does tie into race. And a few months ago, I was not interested in talking about anything that was that serious, because I know that people may have different opinions and it may spark controversy.
True.
Not with us, but just something that I shy away from sometimes is controversy.
That's a song by Prince. Controversy. Anyway.
Yeah. And so with colorism, we definitely want to just touch on that, because we've had different experiences, and I'm sure that that you all have as well. Whether it's you directly, maybe someone who you know, or maybe you haven't.
Mm-hmm. So if you have experienced something and you want to join the conversation, please shoot us an email, a DM, something like that, and we might use your content.
Yep, post in the comments after the episode. So let me get my handy dandy notebook out.
Oh snap! She got a whole list for me, man.
Yes.
Oh, it's actually a post-it note.
You hear those sound effects.
It's actually a post-it note.
It's the post-it being pulled apart.
Jeez.
But we had began our conversation last night, and so you had some really, really great points that I never even thought about, because I am not you and you're not me. So
Oh snap! Here come the questions.
So hopefully you have stop. They can't see you.
I had the questions in my head. I'm good.
But as I said earlier.
I know.
Okay, if they can't see your hand,
that's
you're
fine.
Doing.
They're not supposed to see my hand. Okay. We don't got it on video yet. That's coming in 2023.
Yes.
Video podcast in 2023.
Yes.
It's going to be like Drink Champs, but it's going to be like Drink Champs, but just us. Shout out Nori. Love y'all little podcast. That joint's dope.
So I'm going to start us off with something that I think is a bit humorous, but people may not think it's funny, that our alter egos as rappers are Remy Ma and Fat Joe.
You made this decision. I do not look like Joe Cartagena. I don't.
His cousin.
I do not look like Joey Crack. I do not.
What are my college friends' thoughts? And I was like,
I bet you your college friend was never exposed to anybody from Afro-Caribbean cultures.
She is Afro-Caribbean.
Well, goddamn it, I don't look like Fat Joe though.
Okay, so
now I want to know who. Now I'm about to go check, man. I bet you I know who. And gosh darn it.
Come here.
No, I'm not gonna tell you in your ear. Not right now. Not right now. But the point is, it's like, God dang it, man. Like, I don't look like Fat Joe. Why are we doing this? You do look like Remy Ma, but I don't look like Fat Joe. And so the funny part about that is one of my experiences with colorism is that everywhere I go, somebody says, "Hey, I know you. Did you go to such and such school? Did you go to this church? Did you play on this team? Is your cousin this name? Is your brother this?" And I'm like, hell no. Like, I'm none of those things. None of those things. I didn't grow up in this side of D.C. I didn't go to school down here. I didn't work with your cousin. I have a very small family, so the chances of you and me being related are slim. So, like, dog, like, I understand that everyone isn't exposed to all different cultures. So I need to be sensitive, but by the same token, I need everybody else to be sensitive and understand that every light-skinned person with curly hair you meet is not the same person.
So then, like, with you having a certain kind of look, how has that impacted you as far as like growing up?
Multiple
in various
different ways.
parts
So
of the country?
especially as a guy. So there's multiple facets to this. It's multifaceted. So as a guy, first and foremost, you get this kind of stigma being a light-skinned guy. Oh, he must be a punk. He must be soft. He's a pretty boy and all those things. Anybody who actually knows me, yes, I do like to dress nice. But it's really just because of sneakers and shit. Like, nah, I am not on that pretty boy stuff. Like, when's the last time I got a haircut? Like, I used to I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like that's the vibes, though. That's the vibes. Is anybody who meets me is like, oh, he's a pretty boy. He's a player, and it's like, young. That's not my personality. I'm not. That's not who I am.
That's what I thought like when I first met you. So that's just something that I had in my head because of just things that were stereotypes of the 90s and 2000s. So I was one of those people who thought that, unfortunately.
Yeah, so like it's a double-edged thing. So from guys, you would get he must be a punk. He must be soft because he's light-skinned and has glasses. It's like, nigga, I will dust you off right here just like anybody else. I play sports just like everybody else. I'm competitive. You know what I mean? I can hold my own. I work hard with my hands. Like, yo, I just wish that wasn't a stigma in the black community. So if you're light skinned, you got to be soft, right? He got to be soft because he's light skinned. You can't choose your parents. So that's already off the break saying, oh, he got to be soft because he's light skinned, but you don't get to choose your parents. You know what I'm saying? Or your upbringing. Your upbringing determines if you soft or not. You know what I mean? So like that off the break is a coloristic thing that we really got to get over as a culture, to stop the light skin bias. And it goes both ways, because what Carol had just said about the 90s and the 2000s, guess what? Every woman I met back then thought I was a player, thought I was this pretty boy.
That's what we would assume, like based on on movies like Soul Food and others. They had the guys who were light skinned, who were, I guess, debonair, suave.
Shamar Moore ruined it for me.
It was the guy from Soul Food, the one who was like in Bird. Even I forgot his.
The point is like, young y'all Bamas ruined it for me, dog, because I ain't that dude. That's not me. That's not me. That's number one. So yeah, I would get it from both sides. I would get it from females, like, and I've literally heard the conversations. Oh, he's so cute. I'm gonna have a baby by him. Like, I heard this shit, and I'm like, young, what the hell? You don't even know me, but you're willing to say out loud to your friend that you want to have a baby by me because I'm so pretty. I bet you make pretty babies. Like, conversations like that. It be places when I'm just out and about minding my business, and some old lady would come up, ooh, you got pretty hair. Oh, I'd be like, yeah, ma'am.
I'm like, you're a cougar. Leave me alone.
Not even, no, I ain't even talking about cougars. Like, I'm talking about like mountain lions. Like we're talking about experienced cougars. And I'm like, young, leave me alone, old lady.
Look at me, your grandma.
Leave me alone, old lady. I'm just trying to get my coffee at the Wawa. What we doing out here? I gotta stop naming businesses because y'all not sponsoring us. So Wawa, cut us a check because I shouted y'all out. I didn't have to. Anyway, yes, like I did experience that, and so.
Was that more so of high school or like college, or because like I mean you have different experiences, like you lived in various states.
So high school, for example, high school wasn't as prevalent in high school, more so because of the high school that I went to. Yeah, remember that I had great grades and was a minority and also another minority, and my parents were willing to help out and volunteer and stuff, so I got to go to a good private school, play football, try to play basketball, all that stuff, right? And so, in that kind of environment, yeah, there were a lot more mixed kids and different kids that from different nationalities, so it's a lot more of a cultural melting pot. So in that case in high school, yes, I could say I didn't really get it as much. I would get it on the football field, where I would line up against somebody and nigga would look at me and be like, this light-skinned soft motherfucker, until I dusted them, and now they had to respect me.
Right.
And so like that was stuff that used to happen to me often in the realm of sports and things like that. So as I got older, though, it was much more like, so for example, I always tell this story about Florida, when my folks ended up moving to Florida and I went with them. One of the first things I did was I gotta find a basketball court, bro. I gotta find the games. I gotta go find a basketball court. I gotta get this energy out. I gotta go find a basketball court. And so I show up at the basketball court and immediately I'm red. Hey, Red, pass the ball, Red. What's up, Red? I'm like, nigga, I'm not even red. Like, that's not even my skin tone like that. I'm not a red bone. Like, that's not even my skin tone. But like that was them southern dudes automatically, them southern cats automatically see a light skinned dude. What's up, Red? Now, the other part is how, you know, down there in particular, you're either Cuban or Puerto Rican or Dominican. But if you look like me, and so.
But you have that though.
Well, yeah, no, I am. So
No,
I get that, but that's the thing is that the assumptions would be made that I would be doing this and doing that, and that's not the case. And so, yeah, you do get a little bit of a stigma based on colorism. I know down south in particular, being a light-skinned man was like. It was definitely a little bit of a different vibe than it was up here. We're a little bit more common up here, I guess you would say.
Up here is in the D.C. area.
Right, but down south, it was definitely like, yo, they were just looking at me like, yo, who is that damn? Who is that guy? But anyway, yeah, I would say that would be my experience for real, is that it's a gift and a curse. It's like sometime, you know, from certain segments of the population, they look at me like, oh, he must have his stuff together, he's a pretty boy and
because
everything like that, because I'm light skinned. And it's crazy, right? Like, you don't know my background, my family history, you wouldn't know what I've been through, but you just assume things are what they are. And so I wonder at times if that's helped me, like in the job seeking environment, like when I go to look for a job, because I know I've been a hiring manager and I've always made it a point to not judge a book. But I know every person who, you know, runs a business or whatever isn't that same way. And so I wondered at times if I got jobs over other people because I just present more acceptable to them than another brother might.
And that's something that actually takes me back to preschool for our oldest daughter, Leah. And so back then, of course, we only had one child, so we didn't know how number 2 and 3 would look in terms of their skin color, hair texture, all that kind of stuff. And so, actually, for her in preschool, she had to be maybe 2 or 3 at this age. I remember very, very vividly how we didn't get there late. We got there like close towards like the whole Star of Breakfast, and there was this one little girl who was maybe a few shades darker than her, and it wasn't even dark, but she was a few shades more brown than Aaliyah, and her hair usually was not done nicely, or it was disheveled. And I remember very, very, very vividly, one of the preschool teachers made this little girl, who's probably maybe like 2 or 3, get up from a little moon-shaped table where Aaliyah could have a seat at the table. So I told the teacher, no, put that girl back in the chair, because she was already here first, so Aaliyah can sit on like the little side part. It's okay. And I told her, like, no, don't do that. And the teacher later separately that just because my daughter looks maybe different than her, there's no reason for you to even treat this other little girl like that. And so, like, those kind of stigmas, that was the first time at age 2 or 3 that I had experienced that as a parent for our child. And it was like our kid being
given the advantage.
It's preschool. It's a preschool half moon shaped breakfast table. So like for y'all, I guess that kids in daycare, like y'all know those little tables that has little 6 chairs, and you put them in. And so that to me really frustrated me, because this little girl is being treated differently because she is a few shades browner than our daughter, who got there after her. And so I told the teacher to put her back. And so like that kind of stuff, I think, is passed down definitely from generations in terms of, like, I guess maybe a subconscious bias of treating people who are lighter differently and better, even though they don't deserve it.
I mean, we know. I mean, we know where that comes from. That goes all the way back to slavery times. We know the reason why there's a different stigma. Like, I've been called a house nigga all the time. I get called that all the time. And the thing is I'm far from that. That's not my personality. Right. I'd probably be the one. I probably would have been the one that would have ran away and got killed. I wouldn't have been the house nigga like that. Right. Like, real talk. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just that automatic stigma based on generations and generations of subconscious sometimes and conscious passed down biases.
You're right about that. So we talked about where you lived. Let me get out my handy dandy notebook. Was that from Doc McStuffins or from Handy Manny? It was from some cartoon.
One of them. They both had notebooks, babe.
Okay, fine. Okay.
I know that Doc McStuffins had one.
Okay, so like with you being a dad of all daughters who look different, what are some of the things that maybe have troubled you, or maybe have been good, but I mean, like, colorism clearly is not a good thing. And like with our kids looking different, I mean, like, you and I both have had experiences that at times have been frustrating, at times I've been angry, at times I've even cried. I'm thinking, like, what is my child going to experience later in life just by hearing these things now?
So I don't know that she's heard any of it. I know as far as
around
like
some of these people,
like I know
strangers too.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's obvious if anybody knows us, like that's kind of how it is. Is our oldest two look a lot like me, and our youngest has the facial features, but has
the oldest,
but has your skin tone. She actually has my hair texture though, which is crazy. She has long, she has long flowy, she has long flowy hair. And so, like, she even has straighter hair than Aaliyah does.
Yeah, she does.
So which is interesting. So, like that's what I'm saying. She's a perfect little mix of both of us. But yes, I mean, that's the stigma. So, you know, people don't necessarily have to say it, but it's just the thought process. Is like niggas, because that's how guys just probably talk to each other, and women probably talk to each other as well. But you know, it's that thought process of, are you sure that one's yours? Because the other two look like that. You sure that one's yours, Jason? That's the type of conversations that guys have. So, of course...
Does that happen to you?
Yes. Why would you think I'm bringing it up?
Well,
like, that's the conversation. So that's the kind of... Yes, that's the kind of things... That's the kind of thing conversations guys have. And you know, I shut that shit down immediately.
Have they seen me before? I mean, because hello, I'm not...
Of course. So,
white.
Again, of course, I shut that shit down immediately. But, again, I be feeling like a lot of people who aren't... You know, you're not a genetic... expert, you're not a geneticist, or is that even is that the word?
It's the
geneticist.
Word.
Great, I use that. Great. Bing.
The bells over there.
So yes, I mean, like, you're not a geneticist, so how can you tell me what kids are going to come out looking like? I mean, even me and my brother look different. We look similar, but we look different.
Yeah, y'all do have like a few similarities at like certain angles, and like when y'all were younger, but as adults, y'all clearly, it's very obvious, know that you don't look alike too much.
Right, and so. Anyhow, I mean, that is something that I've experienced, and of course I shut that shit down quickly, but I can understand how that would frustrate you or to make you feel a certain kind of way. And so I know you've told me the story about, you know, walking around with our daughters and people thinking that you're the housekeeper or something, the babysitter.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I've been asked or / told various times. It was more so when we had the oldest in the middle. So we were a family of 4. And I remember being out at a store in Clinton. I think we know what store it is.
Yeah, we know what store it is. It's what it is. And if you know what it is, you know, because you've been there and you've been frustrated just like the rest of us. Anyway.
Yeah, so we were at that store, and so it's actually happened twice at that store because we lived in the area for 9 years. So I was at the store often. But there was this one time at the checkout line, it was actually with all 3, that this customer asked me, was I the mom of all 3? So was one of them adopted? And the one of them obviously going to be Ashley, because she is
the one that looks different,
a different skin color than Aaliyah and Angie. And so at that point, I had heard this kind of comments about like, oh, are you the babysitter, or where is their mom, or are they adopted, or is their dad Indian? I had heard so many different comments by the time that we had Ashley that I was a bit numb to it, but I would get angry and not sad at that point, because I had heard it for at that point maybe 6 years.
Right.
Because Lee at the time was like, well, actually more than that, but I heard it for several years. And so my response at that point in the store was not laughing it off or like, it was anger.
Right.
Because I was pissed off that this random person who I have no clue who they are is going to ask me is one of them adopted. And so they didn't point to who it is, but obviously we know who we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And so like, it didn't hurt me at the time, but then like reflecting on like what this world is, what this country is, I'll say, because that's where we live in the U.S. And so just thinking about what Ashley may experience by being in a family that has 2 sisters who are so much lighter than her, they look so much different to her at the outset. So like when folks, I guess, like actually know us, then they can see that's really obvious that Leah and Ashley look a lot alike, except
especially now that Ashley's getting older and her feminine features are starting to pop out more. Like like she literally looks like Aaliyah's twin, just a little chocolate version.
Yeah, a chocolate version. And so like just the anger and the sadness for thinking of what she may have to experience by having two sisters again who are much lighter, who have different kinds of hair textures than her. So I would get sad as her mom, thinking, that like she'll experience colorism, racism, and it's no fault of her own that she looks like this. So I do make it a point to not love her extra, but because it was all three girls are loved equally, even though thirds not equal, but you get what I mean. Like,
how are thirds not equal, ma'am?
33 and a third, 33 and a third, 33.34 equals
Why are
100.
we talking in percentages and not fractions?
Anyhow, because a third,
2/3 and 3/3, right?
Okay, fine. Okay, Mr. Mathematician. But I would just really get sad for thinking like what she may have to go through. And so I do know that at times I am extra lovey-dovey on her because number one, she's our last child. Number two, because of how she was born, with her stillborn and then survived. And number three, because she does look different, and I want her to know that she has so much love from us, whether the world shows it to her or not. And so at age 9, she hasn't experienced that, because I do ask her occasionally, do you get treated differently because of how you look? Because I want her to understand that this may happen, but I don't want to also scare her,
right,
and make her think that this may happen at age 9 or 10. And so I'm getting emotional. I feel my eyes watering. I did not expect that. As far as like getting sad for her, I mean, as far as like actually like having some tears coming down my little eyes.
Well, I mean, like there really is kind of an interesting scenario, and I mean, I would think back to your childhood. How was it for you? Because your sister and you are totally different complexions.
And you're right about that. And I did think for many years, up until I was in my 20s, I thought that my parents loved me less because, number one, because I stutter, so I thought I was embarrassed with them as a child. But I will also like wonder why did God, I guess, make us the us is Melanie and I look so different in terms of our skin color. And so I don't know whether I had asked our mom that question outright, but there was something I remember in middle school or maybe elementary school, something like that. We were in Virginia visiting my grandparents and all the folks in Portsmouth, Virginia. Hey, night family. But I asked her basically like, why do I look different than you and then Melanie? So my dad is my same color, but I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking more so of why are my aunts, well, not all of them, but like why some of my aunts really light? Why is Melanie much lighter? And so like she had explained to me that actually that Melanie looks a whole lot like my uncle who died, I think maybe in the 60s or 70s. And so when I saw his photo as a kid, I was like, I mean, I don't know my reaction, but it was me seeing that genes can move around, they can skip people. You never know how someone's gonna look, and so like her assuring me that just because I was not the same color as Melanie or even darker than our mom, didn't make me less loved by them. So that was reassuring, and I didn't even realize how much that bothered me occasionally. Wipe my face with my little Post-it.
Oh my God!
Because the tissues are over across the room. But one of the other things that I remember for Angelina, very, and I think I share this with you, very vividly, when she was in kindergarten, maybe first grade, she thought that she was white. Remember that? And so I don't know what she had learned, that month it was Black History Month. It was kindergarten because we were at cheer practice sometime afterwards, and so she was telling her tumbling coach that her father, her sister, which was Aaliyah, and then her grandmothers, which is Grandma Carla and your mom, are white, and then so are they, and the they is you, Aaliyah, and her. And so I never heard that before because she never expressed, I guess, anything dealing with skin color.
Right.
We never talked about that at that point because she's only 5 or 6 and Aaliyah's maybe 8 or 9 at that point, and Ashley probably wasn't even born, or maybe like an infant. I don't know what she was back then. she was little.
Right.
But when we were done with practice, her coach asked to talk to me. So I'm thinking it's about maybe like tumbling skills or like things that she can work on or something. I thought it was actually about practice, and so he was concerned about like what she was saying to him and the other girls who were at the tumbling practice about her being white. So he wasn't mad or anything. He asked me like, "Well, I heard this before." I said, "No, I don't know where it's coming from." And so he explained that what she was saying in terms of like her sister, the grandmas, but I don't remember what it was. She was saying that if it was during the times of the king, that couldn't be, I guess, together, and the we is Ashley and me will be separated from you, Grandma Carla, your mom, Aaliyah, and her. So then the coach had, I guess, I'm trying to like probe and ask her why. Basically, she was saying because we're white and the we is y'all, and so that to him was concerning, and that was the first time that I had really thought about maybe I do need to explain to our kids about about like why they look different, about how it's genes and not just anything else. It's genetics, and that's it.
Well, I think that that's important in our culture in general, because even when you don't have a fun, melting pot like myself with different cultures infused into our gene pool, you have 2 African American parents that'll have a light-skinned child and a brown-skinned child. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it does happen.
But I will say those questions do arise a lot.
Right.
Not from me anymore, but from, I have heard there was kind of comments like on TV and family. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be quiet on that because I don't know. I DK what the answer is. Right.
But I mean, like that sort of thing does happen, and so
it's saddening and infuriating.
It really is, and the reason why is because we already have it hard enough. Why are we making situations harder on ourselves? Like we're already in a country that persecutes us, and yes, there's opportunities, but by the same token, we know how those opportunities are handed out, and it's not based on merit. This is not a meritocracy. We know better than that. And then to a further extent, knowing the disadvantages that we all have, we should be working together and shouldn't be thinking about these sort of things, but these things do come up. And so that's why, from my perspective, and the crazy thing is that it ebbs and flows. Because remember in the 90s and 2000s, oh, you're a light-skinned guy? Oh, you're the most attractive thing on the planet. Now, nah. Women aren't attracted to light-skinned guys. Now they want you gotta be dark-skinned with dreads. You gotta be dark-skinned with dreads, or like black women don't take you seriously. They think you're a punk. And that's crazy because that's not the case.
Maybe it's some different.
Because I've heard no. Well, I mean, it's social media. It's movies. It's pop culture. It's a lot of different things. But I mean, I've had one of my friends who's dating out here, and he's in his late 20s, and he said that this shit happens all the time. That women expect him to be soft because he's a little bit lighter, and he's like, he's not soft even a little bit. And so like that's funny how that works, and how they expect different things based on that visual. And so I've always wondered how women really, really think about that. I mean, because guys have, I'll say, like, I know people have preferences. Right. Some people like what they like, some people don't like what they don't like. But when does it get to a point that culturally overtakes those preferences? And now you're allowing everybody else's preferences to guide what you think. Yeah. Like maybe you thought that light-skinned person or brown-skinned person was attractive, but now since society has told you they're not, you don't even look at them anymore.
I hear what you're saying. And so like that's something that I am pretty sure that our kids will I'm gonna go through it, as well as cousins and friends and family.
For girls, it's a little bit different because it is, but it isn't. Let me take that back. It's not different for girls because I know, especially in our community, how guys feel about light-skinned girls, and
still they have the same thoughts about. Even that's been like decades.
I know how. I mean, that's how guys are. That's just how they are. That's how they are. And I hate to say it like that, but that's again one of those ingrained cultural things that goes way back from, generations of trauma going back then. We know that that's the reason why. Yeah. But and it probably wasn't even our preferences. It was the preferences of the master put on us, and seeing that mixed girl was treated so differently. Now everybody on the plantation's like, oh snap! Well, there must be a reason why she's being treated so differently. And now that stigma just continues and continues and continues till you get to the point that, personally, I'm gonna say it out loud. I love brown skinned women. Y'all beautiful. I love the melanin. It's beautiful in the sunlight. Oh my God, glistening all over your body. Like, yes, I love it. So I get it. Like, people have preferences, right? Some people like this, some people like that. But I've also never been the type of person to be like, ooh, I'm only going to date a light-skinned girl. Ooh, I'm only going to date a brown-skinned girl. I've never been like that. But that's just me. I know a lot of people are different. I had friends in high school that was exclusively light-skinned or white girls.
And I'm going to safely assume, not even assuming. Because
oh, yeah, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. He was darker than dark.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead and say it.
That was one thing I was going to say.
Go ahead and say it, because that's the crazy thing, right? Is that back then, especially given our age group, so remember the '90s and how they were. That was the thing. Is like, if you were brown skin, you had to get with a light skinned person so that y'all could have pretty mixed babies. Like, that was like the thing. That they used to say that. Remember I said earlier that people would actually say that. Ooh, I bet you make pretty babies, girl. If you don't get the fuck out of my face with that creepy pervy shit. Get the hell out of my face with that.
And that's a very high schoolish kind of mentality that I'm pretty sure that adults who are even 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even older still think.
That's your sister. All right.
But you definitely have a good point in terms of like how some guys in the 90s wanted to be with a light skin or a white woman because they may have light skin, curly hair babies, but some of them came out with very, very coarse hair. So they may have been disappointed. No offense to anyone who is light skinned and biracial that has coarse hair, because coarse hair is beautiful. You can make it look wonderful. But
yes, and from my personal experience, man, when you be trying to have cornrows and stuff, and you got this curly, nice, soft hair that everybody love running their fingers through, your daggone braids take years to get there because you got to have a lot of hang time.
And so, like, what I was thinking a few minutes ago is that like with people who maybe had been in high school age for us back then, or maybe even now, like if you were just limiting yourself to a light-skinned person or a brown-skinned person, like you're gonna miss out on the actual person's character, their humor, like a genuine friend who may turn into a lover, best friend, or not. But like, if you are purposely blocking off a whole segment of people, you're missing out on some like really good awesomeness.
So I understand where you're coming from as it pertains to dating, but again, when it pertains to dating, it's really preferential. So yes, colorism does exist in that environment, but I also believe to a certain extent that it's a little bit less, not less prevalent, because it is prevalent, but less. I don't think it's as offensive in the dating environment, because at the end of the day, you have your preference. Your preference is your preference. Some people like big girls. Some people like skinny girls. Some people like tall girls. Some people like short girls. You know what I'm saying? Some people like them thick. Whatever the case may be.
Right.
So that's a preferential thing for me. I just don't like it when you say it out loud in a dismissive way, because so it's one thing to say, oh, as a woman, if you're a woman and you say, well, I only date brown skinned men. I only want chocolate men, right? So that's fine if that's your preference. That's totally fine. But when you say, when you turn around and say light skinned niggas ain't shit because they weak, Like, nah, that's not it. That's an assumption that you're making based on whatever society has told you, not your personal experience.
And that actually brings us back to the why of why some women say only want to be with someone who is chocolate or is really brown, because maybe there is some kind of a subconscious bias towards light-skinned men because they heard or experienced, or their mom or grandma told them, that light-skinned men are a certain way. Now, personally, so I never heard that in terms of like light-skinned men or punks or soft.
That's
or
because you live in Southern Maryland, where y'all got them couple families that's lighter than light down here. Yeah, a couple families.
I say to me, I'm not saying what my friends may have said, but I'm saying me, Curl, did. Stop it.
But if you want to be real, I feel like that's relevant.
Whole other conversation.
No, but I feel like it's girl. But I feel like that's relevant because look at that. I feel like that's relevant though. So the funny thing is I'm mouthing these two words at my wife because she's from Southern Maryland. If you're from Southern Maryland, there are a couple families. There's a couple families who are traditionally known for intermarrying at times to keep their gene pool light skin.
Yes.
And so, like, I'm talking about cousins marrying cousins, and even deeper, or even having babies with people you are directly related to.
Maybe like third cousin removed, but
so what I'm saying is like there's a couple well-known families in Southern Maryland that are known for that, and so like that's the type of thing that all throughout the South, and in rural areas in particular, it seems like that type of stuff is really, really prevalent. And I be feeling like that's because you just, without having the exposure to different cultures like you get in more urban areas, right? Without that exposure to different cultures that you get in more urban environments, I feel like the general consensus society in those areas is to revert back to slavery times, to revert back to those rural times and those sensibilities, unfortunately. Like, I just don't get like how you think it's so important to stay light-skinned that you intermarry and marrying your cousins and
interbreeding and all that,
inbreeding and everything, just to make sure your family stays light-skinned, to the point that I've heard this because I know a couple of them. I don't want to name the last. Should I name the last names? I know a couple
because I have friends.
Because I know people who are both. I know people who are both last names, and one of them is clearly that. The other one has that last name. She's not really like that vibe.
I'm like,
she's
where
not.
You come from?
She's not that. No. That's the thing.
So bad.
It does sound so bad, but look at where that comes from, though. That comes from years of going to school with those people and them talking about this as part of their family history. And so I do know a couple of young ladies, well, our age, I guess. So I know a couple of women who are, those last names. They might be in those families, they might not be, but one of them really is passing. She's passing.
Still in
still in 2022. If she didn't have, Black Girl Magic, because y'all got that magic. If she didn't have Black Girl Magic and that vibe, she's 100% passing.
Wow.
100% passing for a white lady.
And I didn't even know that people who are, I guess, our age range in the 40s and younger, they still do that. I know someone who does that, and she's in her 60s. I'm thinking, oh my God, we know you're Black, but others who are not Black don't know that you're Black. But okay, if you want to pass for white because you're so light, then go ahead. But like when you're talking about like me growing up in Southern Maryland, I totally forgot about like actually experiencing colorism in high school, and that was my first time that I like blatantly know. Well, actually, my grandma did it to me too, but that was some of my family. My grandma's different.
Yeah, we know she's built different.
Yeah, the whole brown bag, and you wouldn't be able to be in a field. That's one other issue with my own grandma. So that's.
Country people.
She's not even country. She's
just ignorant.
She's not country.
She's not country. She's just ghetto.
She is from the D, so she is not
ghetto.
country.
She's not country. She's just ghetto.
It's not even that, but like when you mentioned those families, I just thought about in the time that one of my friends told me that I could not even come into his grandma's house because I was too dark, and so I thought he was kidding. And I was like, oh, well, we know you're kidding. He was like, no, I'm serious. You cannot come inside because you're too dark, so you have to stay in the car. He was only there maybe for like 5 minutes or so, but I really thought he was kidding by saying that, no, Carol, you guys stay in the car. And so, that was in the 90s when that happened.
See, and stuff like that is really crazy
and that
to
was
me.
25 years ago. Well, not 25 years ago, but that was a long time ago, I guess, to some people. But it's still kind of current because I'm only 47 years old. So we've covered some good stuff with colorism.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by something.
I'm thinking, are you okay?
Nah, there's a little person in our midst that we're taking care of during this recording, and there's a little person in the midst.
He's being a great audience member. He's so quiet, it hasn't made a sound.
Right, he's doing the best, so good stuff.
He's alive, though.
Right. But
he's alive.
Oh my God, he's alive! Great job.
He hasn't made a sound.
Way to be a great aunt, Carol.
I am a great.
Yeah, he's alive.
I mean, because he's so quiet.
Right, he is quiet. He's got a little binky. That's why. Anyway, so yes, there is a lot of. I feel as though in our culture, there's a lot of this that just goes back. And I hate to be that guy with everything, just blame it on slavery, right? Blame it on slavery. But a lot of. Yeah, clap. It's very good.
He made some noise just now. Oh, he is clapping. Really, it was clapping for you.
Yeah,
right.
Because he knows that it all goes back to slavery too, right?
Why you Yes.
So unfortunately, like I hate to say it like this, but we know that just the majority of our experiences kind of end up going back to slavery, and so. This particular conversation clearly is rooted in that.
Definitely.
But
not a doubt.
The thing that we talk about, like you were mentioning your friend's grandma that wouldn't let you come in the house.
And I thought he was kidding, but he was dead serious. You could not come in the house. I was like, oh, okay, I'll stay in the car.
So that's one of those things that it feels like to me the older generation who experienced a lot more than us from a bigotry standpoint and things like that back during the 50s and 60s or even earlier than that, I feel like they're the ones who have kind of kept these things going, perpetuated these stereotypes and myths
definitely.
And things like that, when modern folks, like that's doesn't even really come into our frame of thought as much.
His grandma did, and like my grandma was doing that up until last year, but she was living here.
Right.
And that caused a whole issue, and she still was doing it when she called me a few months ago. So I'm like, really, Grandma, you're still on this stuff?
And that's crazy, is that she had basically created a whole narrative in her head based on colorism. Based on her thoughts of what colorism was. Yeah,
that we don't love our youngest daughter because she's different skin tone than our oldest two daughters, yet she and I are the same skin tone, Ashley and I. And so that was a major issue when Grandma was living here.
Right, no, I know, and I'm hip.
A lot of tension.
And the crazy thing is like if you're actually paying attention, it's the opposite of that. We probably do too much for Ashley.
Yes.
We probably baby her too much.
Why do y'all do that? I'm like, well, number one, she's our last child. Number two, she had a hard time getting here. But like me as her mom, I don't think it's because of her skin color, but I just want her to always know that she is loved immensely in this family, regardless of your skin color. I don't say those words, though.
Mm-hmm. But I definitely think that it is up to us in the younger generation, and I'm saying younger generation like I haven't been called an OG recently. And I'm somebody's OG, ironically.
Yes, that's a whole other feeling, a whole other episode in terms of like how we are now
we're the elders almost. We're not the elders, but we're the important generation in our family.
I'm 41. I'm not that old.
Right, we're the movers and shakers of our family. Like we're in our 40s. Like it's us now. Where we used to be the kids who were sitting on the side watching everybody else do stuff. Now we're the movers and shakers doing stuff. And so that's why, like, yes, I do do think that it's important for our generation to kind of take a stand on this type of thing. And now, again, I get it. If you have preferences, you have preferences. You know what I mean? No one is going to begrudge you of your dating preferences, right? But if you start bringing that stuff into regular conversation, into friendships, co-worker situations, like things like that, now you're not only alienating people, but you're, like Carol said, you're cutting yourself off from so many people. And from my perspective, I just feel like that's lame. I feel like we have enough problems in our community already. Why should we create another one when we could all unite and work together? So from my perspective, I believe all y'all beautiful. Just keep it pushing. Stop being weird. Brown skin girls are pretty. Light skin girls are pretty. Stop being weird, y'all.
And
like, for real.
Brown skin men are awesome, and so are light skinned men.
Stop being weird, y'all.
We're all just humans, and so that's what it boils down to.
You still bleed red. You get cut, you still bleed red. So I don't care if you're light skin or brown skin, you get cut, you're gonna bleed red. That's what matters. Like you said, we're all part of the same race at the end of the day. Example of basically, when I was in college, someone I dated was very, very brown skinned. She was beautiful. She had a beautiful smile, beautiful eyes. So I didn't think nothing of the fact that she was very, very brown skinned. I didn't care. Her skin looked beautiful to me. But I remember my friends at the time like, that's your girl? Yeah, she's darker than a mug. So what? She's fine as hell. You're tripping.
But they couldn't see that because they're focused on color.
And that's what's crazy, right? And I literally had that conversation with somebody, and they would say that they would get with a girl who's light skinned and ugly just because she's light skinned.
I used to wonder that too. I'm like, oh,
they'd get with a girl who's light skinned and ugly just because she's light skinned, as opposed to be with this brown skinned goddess that I was with. She was beautiful. But she was so dark that people would actually say that to me. Like, yeah, you're tripping. No, ugly girl. Like, yo, you're tripping, dude. Like, get over yourself. Now, granted, again, late 90s.
Yeah.
So, it's different time, different mentality now.
I did not know him back then, y'all, okay? We did not know each other back then.
Right. But the point is like, what that I'm trying to make is, and I mean, it wasn't just my friends on campus that would say stuff like that to me. I would go, over her house, and it was just like her mom and her brother and everybody was just treating me, I guess, different. So I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's not. But
it's definitely a thing, because people thought that I would look different than how I look. Like when they
yeah, that's 100%. So when people met me and they knew I was married and hadn't met my wife yet, and then I introduced my wife as this fine fit little chocolate girl, they'd be like, I didn't expect you to be with that.
That's your wife. I
expect you to be with some big light skinned giant. It's like, why? Because I'm a tall, thick light skinned man. I gotta have a thick light skinned woman. No, that's like, everybody has preferences, and just because that's what y'all think should happen doesn't mean that that's what's gonna happen for me. That don't mean that that's what's gonna happen for me. And so yeah, I did experience that. So it's another facet of how this colorism can ruin things, and why we just as a culture gotta get over it. It's not just us though. The crazy thing is
better too.
The crazy thing is, outside the African American community, it's even worse in some other communities. Like really though, why do you think Sammy Sosa did that to himself? Because in the Cuban community, it's a big deal. In the Dominican community, it's a huge deal. If you're like my complexion or lighter versus darker than my complexion, in the Dominican community, it's like a whole different country. It's weird like that. That has a lot to do with that island in particular.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
A lot to do with that island, and if you want to take a history lesson on the island of, isn't it the island of Santo Domingo? Like that is Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Isn't that Santo Domingo? Is the island? It doesn't matter. The point is that like there's a real reason why Dominicans have a thing like that, and you need to kind of look at history to see where it comes from. It's still rooted in the same shit though. You're right. Racism and slavery is what it's rooted in. But other cultures do colorism way worse than us, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, this has been a phenomenal episode.
Phenomenal. P word.
And so I had emotions that I didn't even think were gonna come out. But it's okay because like when we had our little beach video saying, hey, we're back, we did talk about like we're gonna be more open and vulnerable. So this is what happens when y'all get the openness from Jason and myself. I remember this little guy who was watching us as our studio audience, aka nephew.
He's polluting my air in here, man. I know that Bama just dropped the load. I wasn't gonna say anything.
He needs to be changed after we're done.
That's fine. We're gonna get your diaper in a minute, little homie. That's probably why he was clapping, because he got it out. That's why he was clapping a couple minutes ago. He probably just got his poop out and got excited. Yes, so thank you.
That has nothing to do, of course, with the episode, but we do have a little person watching us, staring at us like, what's going on with Auntie and Uncle?
So again, like I said before, if you want to chime in on this topic, I think this is a real good topic for the listeners of any race, creed, whatever. Tell us how you feel about this. I mean, we're all adults here. Most of us, our listeners, are adults. We do have one 12-year-old listener who is a number one fan, but that's neither here nor there. I really do want to know how y'all feel about this, because I've had my experiences, and I know like people that I know have shared their kind of experiences who have been relatively similar to mine. But like, I wonder the situations from other scenarios. Like one of my best friends is a dark-skinned man. One of my best friends, and I be wondering we don't really talk about that kind of stuff, but like I be wondering, like, I wonder how it was for you, bro, because we're relatively the same age. I wonder how it was like for you, bro, because it was like this for me. And then I look at his dating preferences, and he's kind of progressive like me. He don't care. Like, it's not about the color of a person's skin. It's about the texture. Look,
the content of the character.
No, it's not about the color of her skin. It's about the texture of her skin. Do you hear me?
Okay.
If you know, you know.
Okay, with this daggone bell.
It's not the color of the skin, it's the texture.
Okay.
Yes, now that we've gone over that, we've had a lot of fun with this topic. It's a serious topic, but we can still have fun with it because it is ridiculous, right? So it does make us kind of laugh at times. It's ridiculous that in 2022, we're still talking about colorism. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad. Like I said before, I really want y'all to chime in on this one. Please hit us up. If you anybody who's our local listeners that know us, text us about it, and we'll put y'all stuff in the next episode. We'll probably have a follow up to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this is good stuff. So that brings us to our next segment of the day.
What's it called, nephew? It's called waving. Okay, great.
He looked at me like, I don't know, bro. What's the line? He looked at me like, what's the line? What's the line, Uncle Jay? I don't know what to say right now. We're going to do some wordplay.
Woo! So who's going first today?
You know it's ladies first. Ooh, ladies first. Ladies first. It's ladies first.
Snap.
Go.
Okay.
You don't know the lyrics with the snaps. Go ahead. My sister.
I was grooving to this. They can't see me yet. My letter is B.
Oh, B as in black.
B as in beautiful.
All right, so I'm supposed to close my eyes and
just give me a B word and not that B word.
Young, what is that?
Good, it stumped you too. What's the word?
Holy sh! And the two words that's in between, you 100% know. So I'm going to give you this because I have no idea. I don't even know. I've never seen this word before.
Good.
Baclofen. Baclofen. B-O-C-B-A-C-L-O-F-E-N. Baclofen.
So I have to define
Baclofen. Define it and use it in a sentence.
How's it spelled again?
Baclofen. B-A-C-L-O-F-E-N.
Okay. So if I heard this word without the dictionary, I would think it's a medicine, but it's obviously not a medication. Okay. Baclofen. Oh, the pressure.
Oh my God.
My toes are getting tight. My chest is getting tight.
15 seconds.
Baclofen. Okay.
Man, this young and them forgot. This young and them forgot again. He backloafing. He's just young and them forgot. This young and them forgot his uniform for practice. Man, we supposed to go there. He backloafing again. Nah, that ain't what we talking about.
Okay,
we not backloafing.
I'm going to guess the definition. What's the word before it?
Backyard.
Which wouldn't help me with the context.
Backyard is the word before it in alphabetical order. You want to know what the one after it is?
Band.
Bacon. Bacon.
Baconated frost.
No, seriously,
Okay.
bacon. That's what's the catty corner. Backyard and bacon. In the middle is backloafing.
Backloafing. Something dealing with having a back issue or like going backwards.
BAC, not BACK. All right, so backloafing.
Help me out, please.
Origin unknown. A gamma aminobutyric acid analog, and I am not going to read. I am not going to read that chemical makeup C10H12CINO2, used as a relaxant of skeletal muscle, especially in treating spasticity.
Okay.
As in multiple sclerosis. So baclofen is a drug that is used.
So I was right originally.
No,
It's
I told
medication.
you. I was like, yeah, keep going. So baclofen is a drug that is used to relax skeletal muscle, especially in treating people with multiple sclerosis who are having, spasms, having a spastic attack. So pretty interesting word. I'm sure the couple of doctors on our line already knew what that was, and you're
like,
keeping it
Jason
pushing.
and Carol, that's old news. Okay.
Man, it is what it is, man. We back loafing. He back loafing again, man.
What's your letter? Nephew, let's pick a word for Uncle Jason.
W,
because he's a winner, and so is the nephew, too. So, Miles got a W. Your hand, little guy. Okay. I'm going to have him choose your word, because his fingers are so little anyway.
Oh, he pointed. Point the book. The book. Book.
You ever saw a little guy? He's getting there.
Boom. What did he touch?
No,
It don't matter. That's what he touched.
I'm not using his word. Which one's too easy?
Young,
That joint, but he chose weak. I'm not going to use weak. Like 7 days of the week. No.
It could have been weak in the knees. You could hardly speak.
Okay.
I don't know what weak you meant.
Okay. Another easy word. Wheel.
Why are you looking though?
I did. And my eyes were closed.
A wheel. Invented in the ancient times. It is a round thing. When connected to an axle, allows it to roll. A wheel. Used in a sentence. I hit that pothole harder than a mug and bent my wheel.
And the wheel came off.
Riding till the wheels fall off.
Ooh. Sorry.
Why you just dropped little man?
Not dropping.
He jumped. He jumped away. He was like, I'm happy with y'all.
Thanks everybody for joining us for the Linguistic Show.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely check us out on our platforms.
What are the platforms?
They are Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify. As Jason was saying, feel free to send us some comments or some DMs because this topic is really important. And like he was saying, we will follow up on this down the road during the season. So thanks everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Let's see whether our fan is going to say anything. You say bye? Nope.
He's just going to yank the microphones off the table. That's what he's going to do.
Okay, bye, everybody.
If you enjoyed this, like, comment,
subscribe, and share to the Linguistic Show.
This has been an Ashangali Enterprises production.
Co-produced by Naomi. Music by Brassville.